Little bitches. Okay. Maybe that's a horrible way to introduce myself. Joe Rogan used to do that. What's up, crazy bitches or something? He got his whole third eye. He probably changed it because he didn't want to get his site demonetized. I mean, what's the point of making all this like podcasts if the recent spate that I've been engaged in, if they don't make a single dime and get strike for demonetized because I'm cussing or something. But then there are some people who cuss, but I don't give a fuck. Seriously, I'm not even doing it for the money or for the likes or for the shares and subscriptions and what. Fuck that shit. So what I'm gonna talk about? I need to get out insects out of my system. Yeah, like there's this blacklist episode where this it gets infested with insects and the insects starts crawling out of the mouth. Insect is a vast topic. I'm not sure if I should do that or anatomy or other random whimsical topic, which I have zero. Like frogs, I have very little. Like my database is like very is pith. It's pithy. It's pith. It's very slim. It's slim to none. My frog database. But frogs looks like an interesting topic to deal and delve. I mean, I don't know. I'm exhausting all my topics. Oh, James Holzhauer has reached cul-de-sac. He has all the bifurcations are ending in the brute force search algorithms are ending in freaking the Koenig's lemma. Tree searches, binary tree searches are ending in fucking dead ends and trimmed, pruned. What am I talking about? Pruned nodes. No, I don't know what I'm. U.S. history sounds like a good topic, and it's a vast topic, but maybe for another day, or maybe I should get that out of my system. African continent history, again, I don't know anything about. What should I talk about? I should pick one and pick one real quick. I don't know. World War Two. How about that? Well, I mean, it's not because let's do World War Two. So World War Two started. Well, it all escalated from World War One and fucking like with all those culmination of all the events that led up to World War Two was actually started with World War One. And I get my battles confused with World War One and World War Two because the Holocaust happened in World War Two and the World War Two and World War One happened with the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand in 1914 or before that, I guess, before 1914. So in World War One was from 1914 to 1918. Or maybe you should combine the world wars. Let's just talk about world wars because I don't want to break it up. Because it's not as if I'm a World War II expert in tanks, and I should devote a separate. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. So World War, First World War. The Archduke Franz Ferdinand, like Austria, gosh, they got blasted. There's a guy got blasted in the car, and who shot him? Like Serbian, some Serbo-Croatian. Sergey, I don't know. Don't quote me on that. Don't fucking go to essay, write essay after all this lockdown is lifted. Fucking go to your AP history class and fucking I heard it in a podcast. I don't know why I had that twang, that drawl, the southern. Yeah, I shouldn't. Yeah, I'm trying my best to restrain Odysseus like Starbucks siren like Odysseus like restrain my fucking southern accent here. I mean, again, okay, so let's do World War One. I don't need my sparse. Its knowledge is very hazy. It's vague. It's World War One, World War One. I mean, I'm sure some shit happened in World War One, and and they fought with fucking muskets and shit, like horse and cavalry and hussars and whatnot. Hussars, Russian cavalry, or fucking not janissaries, but anyway. So 1914, it's still early, and we had 1918. And when did Kazimir Malevich start? Because there was this whole art movement which is very nihilistic and you can see feel palpable in Malevich's work or like, and then there was those sort of, yeah, why am I veering towards art? I guess that's my strength, so to speak. Okay, anyways, so we got your World War One and which countries, and there was this triple entente. Let's just combine them. Great World War. So we got our triple entente, we got our allied powers, probably that's for World War Two rather, and you got your Axis triple, and then there was Yalta Conference. I know that's important. There was Neville Chamberlain, but probably Neville Chamberlain has to do with First World War. Again, don't quote me on that. And Alsace-Lorraine, Germany, I think lost Alsace-Lorraine. and that's like near Switzerland, like Lorraine, Alsace, Lorraine. I don't know. So Germany got pissed, and they somehow did Germany get pissed because of that, or something happened? I mean, for World War Two. So, anyways, we know the famous all important wars like Battle of Bulges and like fucking D-Day. That was the end of marked the end of World War Two, and where the K-Bars, the early SEALs fought with K-Bars and shit. So that was D-Day, Allied forces landing in Normandy, and then we got a Battle of Bulge in Britain, and Britain got bombarded, and well, okay. So World War II, America got involved because of Pearl Harbor, because Japan decided to like fucking play footsie with us and whatnot, and so we took them out, and we took them out, and there was a raising of flag at Iwo Jima. I'm just brainstorming right here. I'm just mattering, nothing big deal, fucking Jeff Ross, Jeff Ross. Why am I Bob Ross? I got my Rosses confused. And then the departments change Ross. Yeah, I always get these three confused for some reason. When I think of Jeff Ross, I always for some reason think of Ross, and the Chinese link puzzle that I bought from Ross once, or the wooden mechanical puzzle. That's my fucking reference point. Anyways, so what? Bob Ross. Yeah, so Bob Ross right here is trying to ASMR you into lull you into sleep. Shh, hush. I mean, yeah, it's nothing big deal. We're not doing anything fancy here. We're not creating masterpiece yet. I'm just taking off the fresco right now and just doing a fucking not fucking reconstruction and like I'm just kidding. So reenactment. Are there any reenactment of Civil War? There are some places where they do the reenactment of Civil Wars. So I don't know why I brought that up because I said reinforcement. So I think all the words that starts with rebar are like fucking stored in this subsection in my brain. And there you go, a special VIP YouTube Prime, fucking Amazon Prime inside look at my brain, how my brain function. Coxon was join now. Smash the button. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm trying to emulate Jim Cramer. I'm trying to emulate so many people that I don't even know what I'm trying to do right now. So we got our World War II, Battle of Bulges, Normandy, France. Which countries got in? Because Japan, because we got okay, Mussolini, the red coats. Was it red coats or red shirt? Or black coats rather. I think so. So we got and the Neville Chamberlain somehow. I don't know why that keeps popping up. And so it's all, the knowledge is all fucking jumbled up. It's like meshy, yeah, mangled up, like in this mess, this whole clunky, and a clunk of ball of fucking yarn and shit, like a fucking those tumbleweed. It's like all tumbled up, and I've just unraveled it yarn by knot by thread by thread. I've unraveled the strings of knowledge that is floating in the noosphere inside my brain's attic. Okay, so we got yeah, I mean, yeah. What other battles were there? I'm sure there was there was a Pacific Theater, Western Theater, and Eastern Theater, right? I mean, well, Pacific Theater, and I wrote a book, my extraordinary autobiography of the reattachable man. There I mentioned Torokina or Torosina, Battle of Torosina. It wasn't Pacific, so it was one of those Pacific Theater battles. So I know, that's why I know that. I mean, it's not a fucking, I'm an aficionado of Battle of Torosina or Torokina or whatever it's called. I have to check. I have to check that. So you got your sporadic battles going everywhere, and you got your tanks, and you got your Luftwaffe, you got a Blitzkrieg, and then you got Hitler and Mussolini. So, and these are distinctly Third Reich and whatnot, the wave of Third Reich, and fucking Kristallnacht and Moscow and whatnot. So you got your distinct those World War II elements. So, but my memory gets hazy for World War One. I mean, I don't exactly know what really happened after fucking Franz Ferdinand got blasted and shit, like, and that he led up to something, and there was more of the Viennese, like, those parts that got involved, and in Germany, probably France, I don't know, France, and so it's funny how much we do retain, but it's also funny how much we don't. I mean, it's all this fucking massive waste of time, all this reading history books and shit, unless you're majoring in history and want to be a fucking teacher and whatnot. So anyways, we got Normandy. Okay, so that was the D-Day. And so if you if you rewind back the clock. That's my okay. Okay. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I think I've exhausted my World War Two and World War One database, and okay, it'll come back. Don't worry. And you got your caricatures, political cartoons, and whatnot, and oh, okay, Winston Churchill was big during World War Two. I mean, he used to carry a Bhagavad Gita by his newsstand. I mean, by his lamp, like fucking bedstand actually. And I don't know what's that's relevant to World War Two. Well, it's ironic this sort of contrast. He has this and there's this raging war going on, Battle of Bulges, and all the bombs dropping everywhere in Belgium and what. I know that Belgium thing, Battle of Bulge, because we had to do a project on it, history presentation, and that was my topic. And yeah. Anyways, so um I think that's pretty much it. Hirohito, there was your triple entente and triple axis of evil, as they put it. Mussolini, Hirohito, and Hitler, I guess. And Hitler pretty much okay. So he had his agenda, and he wanted to take over, and then the communist Russia joined them, and we put and America intervened, and we like and Bangladesh did. No, I'm just kidding. So we're like and then they were, they're checked into a halt, and you got your Pearl Harbor Michael Bay movie, which clearly depicts what went on, what really went on, and you got a battles, and what are the naval warfare, naval battle? I'm not sure. I mean, yeah. But my memory for 1914 to 1918, what really happened during that time? Well, I mean, Guernica, when Picasso said you did that to the Spanish soldier. So Spain, I mean, Guernica probably happened. I mean, I think that was right after World War Two, my bad, World War One, because Picasso was still fresh then back then. He was popping, he was trending that time. His Guernica, again, don't quote me on that. So World War One ended on 1918, and then 1939 there was a big gap, and then Germany got fucking pissed off, and then they started some shit where there was no shit to start with, and and like I think they got embargoes on them. I think they lost territories. Again, I'm rambling right here. Don't These are not gospel by no means. These are not words written in stone. These are not commandments or anything. Not fucking ZFC exams right here that you can, again, you can draw schematics up about scroll. Anyways, what am I talking about? So we got World War One, World War Two. Wow, maybe I should just. That's just stupid. How much a little I know. No wonder I didn't get interested. Unless you're one of those get out of my lawn type of sort of old grandpa. I just watched in the TV they show 105-year-old. Maybe that was the trigger actually. Who knows? One of a veteran whose birthday is today, and he wants people to wish him birthday. So I guess send him happy birthday, whatever. So yeah, I mean, you got those generations, this boomer generation, because unless you're part of like unless that's why people join military, because you have to go back to that generation, and maybe that's your interest. I mean, if you're a fucking millennial, it's not suddenly all of a sudden you're gonna study like planes of World War Two, airplanes, or like fucking tanks, or like do all those, go to the hobby store and buy all those models and whatnot. Ironically, my U.S. history database is actually stronger because Fort Battle of fucking Fort whatever, like Ticonderoga and fucking like, yeah, Battle of Bunker Hill, and yeah, but let's not delve into that. Anyways, let's not show my majestic mastery on the command of U.S. history. So, so we got, and then the women, and you remember what's his name? Nicholas Cage? Is that what his name? Cage. What's his name? I forgot. Wow, it's been a while. The guy who was on Face Off and shit. Fucking Rock. Nicholas Cage. That's his name, right? So, anyways, the Navajo movie? Windbreaker or something? So that was that. So we had the Navajo that were code breaking, and then we had the Alan Turing, the Imitation. A lot of movies that had the backdrop of World War Two, the Imitation Game, the whole fucking Enigma machine, German, codes, and we got your Mincemeat, Operation Mincemeat. It's a fascinating topic how some spies, in espionage, if you I mean, I don't want to butcher it by like bumbling and mumbling and like talking about basically what they did. They want to thwart and like a red herring. They want to as a decoy. They got a corpse, which the spies. I think the allied forces. They made him wash up on shore, and with fake, and it was so realistic, like almost like special effects, like actual like physical special effects, where they put all these like sort of broken stubs of ticket, passport, all this little and they did so delicate and nuanced way and blended in and everything, like pointed to the fact that it was a double bluff, like something's gonna happen, some shit's gonna go down in Compton Homes. No, what I'm talking about. So, yeah, some shit's gonna go down in some place, but they didn't, and they thought they were gonna do, and it was perfect. Just Google Operation Mincemeat, you love it. I mean, it's beautiful. But the book I read, it was a children's book, and it was brilliant. And nowadays, I'm sure there's a movie, there are probably documentaries, and I watched it. I mean, I read about it a long time ago. So you got that, you got your Navajo, your code breakers, and you got your Alan Turing and whatnot. Belchifield or Belchifield, I think the park, Belch. So you got a lot of progress from. I mean, even if you take DARPA, internet, and even space race, these are all the roots actually happened after World War II. I got a roots on my the stupid song. I hate that song. Was it Megan Trainor? No, not Megan Trainor. Well, whoever is that. Radio plays the shittiest song right now, and they play it ad nauseum and ad infinitum, so the tune gets stuck in your head. The only reason they do it because they generate money and they don't care about taste. It's like, who the fuck? Just because Beyonce's trend doesn't want to mean you want to fucking listen to it 24/7 or something. I mean, what the fuck? And they make it so stale. I just turn my radio off and fucking connect my YouTube in case quarantined America wants to know. Anyway, so yeah, I had to throw that tidbit because I have to fill my time instead of rambling about World War II or World War One. And you got your painters of World War One, and did you know Revlon apparently? And then the Great Depression followed, and you got your Woodrow Wilson. Was it Wilson or Truman? I think Wilson. I know my presidents, but I don't know the order of the bat. I think it was Truman. I think. Well, no, Wilson's 14 points. So which was Wilson? Yeah, I remember. I think it was Wilson. And you got your depression and the stocks. I mean and it happened right after World War II. The repercussions left, and then as I mentioned, Revlon. They got started. For some reason, I always bring that up as if. Anyways, and then you got your you got your women in the factories and even what's her name, Coco Chanel. She even like made a killing, not made a killing, but she made fashion popular about those pants, because women used to wear fucking scarves and shit, and she made pants fashionable because in the industry, in the factories, it was easy to like fucking. It was more like a safety, I guess. More of a safety, like it's more safe to wear pants than I guess scarves would get entangled or like fucking and get knotted up in a word, and I don't know what I'm talking about, like in a like where they're doing their fucking singer machine swing or like some other machinery. So you got that, but I'm trying to think of what happened between 1918 and 1939. There's this big gap. Like how was that the hiatus between the two wars? How was that filled? I mean, because that's like what 18 plus 18, 36 plus 3, 21 years, 20 years of buffer space, and that was filled somehow. And who are the major forces in World War One? Even Australia, I don't think they got involved. I don't think Australia got involved. England obviously did in the Second World War. The first World War, I think England definitely did. England was a major force back there. I mean, the British Empire probably was dwindling, and all the countries was getting the independence. Israel, I know, got it in 1948. For some reason, I know that. I think it's because of the fact that Einstein was for presidency of Israel. And just for some reason, that's etched in my mind. 1948 Israel. I don't know. Yeah. And all the African countries were gaining independence like shortly afterwards. The decline of British Empire. So, anyways, so yeah, in the First World War, Britain was pretty, and I think Neville Chamberlain was, I think, one of the key forces. What about Disraeli? When was Disraeli? Who was Disraeli? When was his influence? Was it World War One, World War Two, or even both? And you got Neville Chamberlain was probably one of the prime minister. I think that's why I keep bringing him up. And there was Woodrow Wilson, and then the Yalta conference happened. So there was That wasn't Stalin, was it? No, there was some. Uh, when I think of the Yalta conference, see this photo and the bald, paunchy guy. Who was this guy? Yeltsin? No, not Yeltsin, because Yeltsin came later. And no, that was Palestinian PLO with Yeltsin, I think. But even before that, I see this. Was it Winston Churchill? I think though. Was Churchill bald? Who knows? I don't even know. And oh, so 1914 and 1918, World War One. Bismarck was biggie back then. You know, the iron grip and whatnot. You know, and then we got your fucking Italian. What's his name? Garibaldi. Was it Garibaldi? Yeah, cause you got your Simon Bolivar during World War Two. Bolivar was getting like the biggie in South America. I mean, when South America was gaining independence. So that was that, and you know what the catchphrase of that was? That there was this in ABC. So this mafia like show, like kind of before Sopranos in ABC. I forgot the name, and one guy was to say like, this guy. That was that. That's with. I don't even know the catchphrase. That's that with that. Yeah. That's that with that. Yeah, that was that. That there's even an English thing like what was the like where you repeat the word. John said, John no something with John had something like that. Just look it up. Just I even made a video about it a long time ago under my other account Omega. Man, if in case someone insert another subliminal I don't know plug. So World War Two. Oh fuck. I mean, there weren't any naval battles. Well, probably there were. Like, obviously, there were submarines and destroyers and whatnot. Because it was, I mean, intercontinental. So I'm sure that was it. And then after World War Two ended, was the Cold War immediately after that, or is way down, like fucking after Vietnam and Korea? When was Cold War? Cold War, and then we had a Cuban Missile Crisis. So yeah, so let's make it. Let's just what? Instead, since I've obviously showing my deficiency world wars, let's just talk about the wars like Korean wars, Vietnam wars. I mean, yeah, the way I put it, no, let's just stick to World War Ones and World War Two because Korean War that's whole another can of worms and Vietnam War or like major conflicts of this 20th century. I mean, we got that Cuban Missile Crisis, Bay of Pigs, and oh shit, and yeah, and Nuremberg trial after that. Uh, okay. Oh wow, Nuremberg trial, and then Cold Berlin, fall of Berlin, and everything. And these are all related, obviously. I mean, because one thing is like a domino effect. And then Vietnam War was the Monroe Doctrine and Manifest Destiny and communism. Hippies. I think yeah, I should have started with that. Like fucking talk about major, like I guess 20th century history, bitches. Oh shit. Okay, so we got 20th century history. It's a good Jeopardy topic in case you wanna right after the lockdown is lifted, you wanna appear in Jeopardy next year. I tried this year, but I didn't get like fucking 50 points. You have to basically your best shot is to get 50 out of 50. So gather up, nerds, huddle together, nerds. Listen up. What am I talking about? So major conflicts of 20th century, we got those wars. Yeah, and I'm sure those little battles were being fought that probably led to independence. Obviously, in our country, we had Bangladesh 1971 war, genocide. That was big for us, and even in world stage. And then who was that guy? Fucking McNamara, I think, and Kissinger. Yeah, those guys. And so what? Yeah, let's just do that. What other wars took place during 20th century? World War One, World War Two, Korean War, Vietnam War, quote unquote Cold War. I mean, basically with ICBM and the like whole big deal and everything. ICBM and the NATO was formed. League of Nations probably was the precursor to NATO, and League of Confederacy or something. Confederates? No, that's different. Probably I'm getting like American Civil War conflated with my fucking League of Nations. So the League of Nations, UN, that was big deal. When was UN formed? And I'm sure it's like Geneva Convention was formed after World War Two, or like they came up with rules of engagement or whatnot. And then we had our like those dictators, Idi Amin and Pol Pot and Hitler, and those are the big names. And the fucking Hirohito was the one of the that was earlier. And we got your Mao, Chinese, and Germany, the Berlin Wall. So, okay. What other important events happened in 20th century history, world history? Jewish Holocaust, obviously, Hiroshima, Nagasaki bombing, and I missed that in World War II. That was like right in front of me, staring in my face. Computer invention, DARPA, and moon, Soviet moon launch, Sputnik, Apollo program, but that's like going towards space, like fucking space. That's a different topic. Yeah, today is very haphazard. I mean, I'm sorry I couldn't stick to a given topic. So we got that, and shit. Okay, and the countries got independent. Most of the countries got around 1950s, I think. 'Cause that's when the African countries got liberated. I think even South American countries and Europe. Well. Europe, anyone's guess. And you got your whole Bosnia Herzegovina Croatian crisis. I mean the whole, the Chechnya, and then Chechnya was different. It's different. You got your ethnic cleansing, but that was more like in the 1990s, like mid 1990s, I think. So even before that, so 1980s, well, it was after Vietnam, I think, right? Or Korean War. When Vietnam War preceded Korean War, I think. And that's a good point, cause yeah, I think so, yeah. And the hippies was in, yeah, hippies was in 60s, and then Vietnam War happened, and then Korean War happened. And raising of flag of Iwo Jima was in I mean, Japan, in Allied, like, okay. Wow. I'm scrambling for words right now. I'm trying to clutch the last straw. I'm gasping for air. I'm like an asthma patient, fish out of water. Oh shit! I can't believe I have so many blind spots. I can't believe the AI that I am. HAL 5000, fucking, fucking IBM Watson, Google, panopticon minded, fucking omniscient AI. This Kurzweilian singularity, fucking GoBot. He has so many. The system has so many blind spots. The fucking prism, being the prism that I am. What am I talking about? Yeah. So, and 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 then you got your, like, the whole African nation, or the like fucking Zaire, Congo, like they were starting to like gain momentum, move, like Kenyatta, Yomo Kenyatta. I remember him, and he was a big, and then this the Arab crisis, or sort of Suez Canal, Panama Canal, somehow. So these are coming. This all smattering of this information, this infon, are coming back for some reason. Well, not for some reason. That's because I'm going around poking them. I mean, obviously, it's kind of like a snake. This information like crawling like fucking infested lice in me, and you poke them, and they come up the stick. So yeah. We got a space program, Laika, the dog that went. But what were major conflicts? Yeah, those are the two major conflicts. I mean, in the first and the turn of the century, or whether even before World War One, was what about the Austro-Hungarian Empire? No. What I'm talking about, the whole fucking Prussia, Prussia, the Russian War or something, and then the Chinese Opium Wars happened somehow. See, these I know from reading Jawaharlal Nehru, Glimpses of World History, this fat book I used to have. He fucking blasted that whole shit off the top of his dome from prison. He was like, that's like real prison shit. Instead of getting fucking all tatted up and shit, like spider webs and chest on your, like, with whole body like a canvas with like fucking, Latin King's disciple type of tats. He basically wrote a whole fucking volume of like world history, basically. Yeah, so Opium War is like, and there were two of them in Japan, like for first Opium War and second Opium War, and India. Oh, and the Satyagraha and India Gandhi movement happened the latter part of the 20th century in South Africa and whatnot, and Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King, Montgomery, 1968 or something, and obviously 1969. I think the and what was it, On Kawara or something? The artist who used to write dates on the papers and mail it to people. His conceptual art. On Kawara, I know that from July something 28, 1969. I think was when the first man landed on moon. So you got your moon landing, Neil Armstrong. So let's just broaden this topic to major events of world history, 20th century world history. What are other factors of, basically points, bulletin points, highlights of 20th century world history? Shit. Oh, let's do by country by country. England, there was Queen, obviously. When did Queen Elizabeth II come to throne? And then there was Diana killed in the car accident. So, and Germany broke up. United Berlin Wall. And what about? Well, that's different though. Quantum mechanics, the whole Copenhagen interpretation, everything. So that's not really world, like that's not really like, that's like some sort of physics, 19th century, 20th century physics. So let's not dabble on other. Let's just do politics of world history. So we got India and Gandhi, Nehru. Even before that, because the British Empire was ruling India back then. Still up to then, and Pakistan came. Well, Bangladesh and Pakistan were united, and was Pakistan. There was Hindustan, and there's a Sindh, land of Sindh. Were the Rajas still alive, or was still balling, kicking during 20th century in India and in Bangladesh? Pretty sure Rajas were still balling. We had our Siraj-ud-Dowla and Nawab Siraj-ud-Dowla, the Nawabs. After the Mughal Emperor ended, I think the Nawabs came, but again. And we got Mandela. I have Mandela's biography, Long Walk to Freedom. So we got Mandela happening in South Africa. The way I said happening as if like he was brewing or something. Well, but I guess 27 years, that's a long time. I think 1960s to fucking 1990s. Yeah, around late 70s or mid 70s to 1990s. So Mandela. So basically, what the thing was happening, England was taking off its grip of the world. Countries were getting, more and more countries were getting independence. World War II ended. People were in depression. And then America started dominating the world stage, and soon China joined, Russia. So Soviet, that's another thing. USSR got broken up. That's another big point. And you got your Clinton saga and whatnot, Monica Lewinsky. That was 1990s, and then of course, and when I talk about 1990s, I cannot but not talk about those FIFA World Cups and whatnot. But that's sports. Let's just do world history, like politics, like. I don't think I've even drank my coffee yet. Okay, and I think that's pretty much it. We covered world history, 20th century world history. Sorry if I couldn't, dazzle you with my razzle dazzle fireworks of fucking breadth of knowledge and shit, and just blast out encyclopedia pages after encyclopedia pages. So just want to give you a taste, rather, what exists within my mind sphere. The ego, the nerve of this guy. Imagine one who has nothing to boasts about himself. Let's talk about vectors and tensors next episode. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, ladies. Thank you. Well, no, we don't have to get too many ladies. I looked at the analytics. It's basically, trust me, guys. Nerds, hang in there. And jocks, if you wanna hone your fucking, I don't know why you come to me to fucking, I don't know why would anyone want to come to me. Just stay in your fucking bubble, isolation bubble. Okay. I'm out. I'm Audi. I'm Swayze. Elvis has left the building. Bye.